What can reading blood work the way I teach you do for you and your practice? That's what this podcast is here for, to help you learn the blood work, master it, and take your brick and mortar practice into the virtual world or scale your virtual practice. On these Thursday episodes, it's all for you practitioners, so let's dive in. And if you're not using systemic formulas supplements in your practice, you should be. This podcast is sponsored by my favorite supplement companies, Systemic Formulas and My Biome. Come join me inside their private Facebook group for practitioners called Systemic Formulas Clinical Nutrition. See you on the inside of that group, and let's start this round of the podcast. Here we go. Welcome to the Beyond the Diagnosis podcast, and with me, Dr. Kylie. I have a feeling that I need to share today. This is why I'm recording this podcast episode right now, because it's on my heart. And what's on my heart is I've received some slack, let's call it that, which I don't care. Fine, whatever. It's what happens when you put yourself out there. And I'm always going to put myself out there so you can throw all the hatred and all the harsh words at me you want, even though I don't get very much, probably because I haven't been on TikTok for like 3 or 4 months now. It's been a blessing not being on that thing, even though you can grow your audience like madness on TikTok. But I get a lot of people saying, God, you make decisions so fast and I just can't keep pace with you. And I don't even know what's going on. And that is my secret to, or what I feel like is the most important characteristic in an entrepreneur in 2022. Because of what the world can throw at us, it is the most important characteristic I feel is this. You're willing to adapt, and you're willing to adapt on a dime. Okay. So if you've been paying attention to my journey at all, especially through this podcast and on my social media platforms and in my email list, especially, I share so much gold inside my email list. If you're not there, you need to be. Go grab your free blood work cheat guide at drkylieburton.com and you'll get on my email list. But it's important to be on my email list because you're getting a lot of gold inside the podcast. Just imagine what you would get inside my email list. Okay. I get messages like, slow down. What are you up to now? Like, can you just hold on to something? My husband tells me all the time, if you would just stop changing things up. I adapt. And I adapt on a fly. And it's a good thing. Because of what 2020 did to the world and 2021. You saw businesses, I saw businesses tank overnight. I also saw businesses become multiple $1-million businesses overnight. I've seen colleagues lose everything they'd built the last 20 years overnight. I think it was like March 13th. If you go back to that date, is around March 13th, 2020, overnight. And so, especially since that overnight period, the most important characteristic I feel and what I embody is the ability to adapt. And as you adapt, I want you to get this idea out of your head. What we once knew as a chiropractic office, what we once knew as a brick-and-mortar naturopathic clinic or functional medicine doctor or health coach or whatever the case may be, got changed overnight. Now, I will never look back at the last 2 years and be so frustrated about what it did to me. One, I'm an optimist. I will always see the cup half full. You can put me on my deathbed and I will find the cup half full. 2, it opened up so many doors. And as doors open up as entrepreneurs, you just got to have the courage to walk through them. Because doors have opened up unlike they were never opened before. So as you're thinking about how can I go from survival mode, from barely making ends meet in my practice to having to convince people to work with me, remember, there are doors opening up in front of you. They're probably already open. If you're listening to this podcast, they have already been opened. I share so much good stuff on this. I open up doors to you. All you have to do is say yes and walk through them. Okay? I want to take you back to a moment that I said yes to that freaking scared me to death. Two of them, actually. The first one was in August of 2020. Okay? Now, back up a year and so say October of 2019, actually it was October of 2019, where I was pregnant with Kylie, who is now 2, and I was so sick. I couldn't physically get myself 10 minutes to my physical office space. So I called up the owner of the building and I said, I'm going to be out of it in 2 weeks. Overnight decision. I was willing to adapt fast. And this was adapting to my body. And I said, most of my patients are already virtual anyways. Why am I paying for an office for like 3 or 4 people to come into? If I lose those 3 or 4 people, I lose those 3 or 4 people. But because I'm willing to go virtual now, not only because my health required it, but the doors would open to more people, more impact. So in October of 2019, I bagged the brick-and-mortar practice. Okay. Now that was everything that had been ingrained in my head. As a chiropractor, we are ingrained to be told we have to have 55 people come in every single day. You got to crack their back, crack their neck, send them out the door, do 5-minute appointments, 10-minute appointments, bill insurance. That's the only way you're going to make a living. Have these really high volume type practices. Or maybe you're going to call yourself a functional medicine doctor too, which drives me crazy. You can't go to a weekend event seminar and say you practice functional medicine, and it's too complicated. Can you do blood work? Oh, heck yeah, because I can teach it to you in 4.5 hours. I'll give you all the tools you need inside my Master Blood Work Live events. 4.5 hour virtual event. Okay. But let's take this idea of what businesses used to look like, what we are ingrained to being told they have to look like, and let's stop it. Because the businesses that are thriving right now, yes, they can be brick and mortar ones. If you live in Florida, congratulations, you saved the day. If you're Greg Mojon, he can get dropped off anywhere you want in the country and he'll start a booming business. That's his thing. Brick and mortar to the T. $0 to $1 million in a year. It's got a gift. But for most of us, myself included, the doors opened to no longer brick and mortar practice. To I can do this on the beach in California. I can do this in Hawaii. I can do this traveling the world. I can create my life around my practice. And think about this. Up until now, up until 2020, we had to revolve our life around our clients. We had to revive our life around our practice, our patients. No longer should that be the scenario. If you need permission to make your life first, your patients second, you have it. I grant you permission to build a business around your lifestyle, not a lifestyle around your business. Doors have opened. Walk through them. This is resonating with you at all. Shout it across social media. Run home and tell your spouse. Run home and start adapting to a new business model. I'm right here giving you the tools how to do it. Okay. So as I've taken so much slack and I've been told, slow down, I'm never going to slow down. It's not who I am. I see a door open and I walk through it. Okay. So back to the brick and mortar practice, I was already virtual when March 13th hit. Now it was like, oh my gosh, nobody knew what Zoom was. Now everybody knows what Zoom was and is. Everything's done over Zoom nowadays. But first of 2020, that was not the case. So I saw a door open. I immediately walked through it. I made that decision to drop my brick and mortar practice overnight. I was done in 2 weeks. If you want to make that decision, do it. And take action fast. You got to be able to adapt. And when you adapt, you got to be able to take the action. No matter how freaking scary it is, do it. I was driving my kids to the babysitters today, and I had I don't know, one of those Chinese sayings you get from your cookie. I can't even remember what it's called. Cookie things. I was sitting on my front, like right by my wheel of my car. And it said, act as if it were impossible to fail. And it's been on my mind ever since, which is one of the reasons why I needed to get on and do this today. I'm in the moment, emotionally charged. So hopefully my emotions can transfer to you so you have the courage to take action and to adapt and to walk through that open door or doors, if it is doors, probably is. Because once you open up and you go through one door, they just keep opening up. Because the universe says, oh, she's willing to do that. All right, let's go. Here comes more doors. But you got to walk through that door first. You got to take brave action and adapt fast. 2 weeks, guys. I made a decision and I was out of my brick and mortar practice in 2 weeks. And I've talked to several people, several colleagues. Well, what's your timeline? Oh, maybe a year, 3 years. Oh, really? You want to keep letting your patients run your life for 3 more years? I guarantee you, if you create a new opportunity, a new way to serve them, you already have their trust. You just got to give them an opportunity to say yes to something else, like blood work. Hey, have you ever been to the doctors and they told you your labs are normal, yet you feel like crap? Well, yeah. Next time when you have a chiropractic appointment, bring your labs in. I just want to point a couple of things out. I think we can help you really transform your health, not just through chiropractic. Bam, your chiropractic patient is now a functional medicine patient because you're doing blood work. But they already have. And now you can sit here, you can sit on the beaches, you can sit in some Airbnb, you can sit in your vacation house and work a day a week, 2 days a week, or 3 days a week like myself. I want you to feel empowered to be able to take your business, whatever it is now, and make your life the life you want it and create the business around it, not your life around your business. Okay, so August of 2020 hits. First time I ever saw this Facebook ad. I felt it in my gut. Okay, here's my door. It's opening. Am I willing to walk through it? I'd never seen these people before. Had no idea what their business was, but I knew that I needed to help with marketing. I needed drastic help with marketing. But I did not want to do the ad route. Because remember, I was brick and mortar, so I can only help people in my area. Now I've got the whole world at my fingertips, but they're not available to me if they don't know I exist. I can be the best blood work specialist in the world. Doesn't matter how good I am as a doctor. If people don't know I exist, I can only go so far. I can only help so many people. Okay. So I needed some marketing help. And here this ad says, we can help you get inside the media for $55 and a 5-day challenge. Boom, swipe my credit card, jump on the 5 days challenge, not having any idea to who these people were. Fast forward 2 years later, I'm still with them. They did a 5-day challenge. Again, they changed their business model on a dime. They adapted fast and they took action fast. That number one characteristic for a thriving business entrepreneur, adapt. Got to be willing to adapt. The faster you do it, the more thriving practice you will build. So this couple, their name is Chris and Jen Gottlieb, Chris Winfield. They're going to be married here in December, I believe, is their wedding date. But they weren't, I think they were together at the time, but they were definitely partners. So anyways, they adapted on a night shell overnight. So they did a 5-day boot camp virtual to anybody who wanted to join. And then they did at the time an 8-week program. And then they did from the 8-week program into, I think they called it a mastermind at the time. Guys, I'm like the first group in on this plan of theirs, on this new business model of theirs. Okay. And I watched their journey over the last 2 years as they started this whole concept of 5-day boot camp, 8-week program, mastermind. Okay. And then I was on another one of their boot camps, just because I love to learn from them. And if they can take action and adapt fast, so can I. So I was on another boot camp. I'm not sure when it was, but they went from boot camp to 3-day live event. So they took their 8-week program, smashed it into 3 days, and then to mastermind. Because what they found was that they could get all of the information to people and all the changes faster if they did it in a 3-day time period and it was live versus an automated 8-week program. Okay. So I'm just watching them go from a door was opened, they walked through it. Because of that, they had many more doors open to the point now last month, they just sold an arm of their business, what they were doing before 2020, because what they've done after 2020 or since 2020 has blown up so much so that they're, I don't know their figures, they're probably close to 8, 9, more like 9 digits at this point, just in the last 2 years, because they were willing to adapt on a dime and change everything they did overnight. So if Chris and Jen can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm here to help. Okay, so that was the first time I took a leap. And every single time I swiped the credit card, and the 8-week program was bigger, then the mastermind was bigger. And it was like I'm gonna bet on myself, because when I bet on myself and I literally give all that I had at the moment, there's no way I'm going to fail, because I'm betting on myself. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to do what's required to get me to that next level. Okay. So next time a door is open in front of you, whether it be a high ticket event or a small challenge or whatever it is, my free blood, not my free, but my Master Blood Work Live event or my 90-day program or my brand new mastermind, when those doors open up for you and you're scared, but you have the feeling in your gut, like, I know this is the thing I need to do. I need to stretch myself. I need to bet on myself. Walk through the door, because you never know what the universe or God is going to send you, because you were brave and you took that action step. And I feel like I already took the action step. And here I am, and I'm sitting and I'm watching my bank account fall. And things are not going the way I thought they were going to once I walk through that door. Doors will open. And sometimes when the door opens, the flood comes through. So you might be sitting low, but that might be preparing you for this flood. All right, instance number 2. Again, it was with a Facebook ad. Dang ads, they can't get to me. That's why I always My rule is never the upsell because the freaking ads get to me. This ad, I've seen the guy multiple times. Okay. He's always wearing this red jacket. All of his ads, and they're professional, incredible ads. I swear, every time I open my Facebook feed, he's on it. Probably because he spends $200,000 a day on Facebook ads. So I'm driving down to St. George, which is in southern Utah, here with my family. And it was the same day that my pre-launch for my book was happening. So I'm trying to do the whole work in the car thing. I got the internet going through the truck and going through my computer, my phone, getting this pre-launch of the book done. And I just had this gut feeling like, okay, here's another door. You need to open it. You need to walk through it. $97. Okay, here, swipe the card. That $97 turned into $60,000 in the blink of an eye. I never even been to his website. Never, like, I'm literally just seeing his Facebook ads. And I have that gut feeling like now is the time. Now is the time you need to do this. I'm going to walk through that door. And I did. And I cannot tell you how many doors have opened since then. Now, I had $46,000 in my bank account at the time. And it was a one-time fee of $50,000, or it was 6 monthly payments of $10,000. $50,000 versus $60,000. But I was just shy of being able to dump everything I had in my bank account and get into this program that I knew I needed. Because at the time, I was like, I know people are getting to my website. I know they're getting to my offers, and they're not moving forward. So I'm losing money. Okay, I'm losing ability to impact lives because I know that my front end wasn't pristine enough. My offers weren't perfect. Now, at this point, I was getting pretty confident in the results I'm able to get with practitioners, with my colleagues. So I bet on myself. I literally gave everything I had. And here's the funny part. I did it without even telling my husband. How do I recommend it? Maybe not. The big problem was that I told a friend, because I was really excited that I'd made this move. So I told a friend who I knew wouldn't bat an eye at the money I just spent. And then he told my husband before I could get to my husband. That was the issue. So the bottom line is when the door opens, walk through it. Adapt. Take action fast. I bet on myself. I gave everything I had. The very next month was the first month I had $100,000 coming in. More than that. I bet on myself. Doors opened and I walked through them. And because I walked through them, I've literally built an entire new business model since saying yes to that Facebook ad less than 5 months ago. Because I take action fast and I adapt. Here's one of the instances on how I adapted fast. So he and I took what I was already doing and created a 90-day program, which is now my 90-day become a functional bloodwork specialist. You get my marketing done for you option. You get a whole bunch of good stuff inside this 90-day program. And then we put it at a price tag that I love because it requires some people to bet on themselves. But yet the results in this 90-day program are incredible. People are getting booked out months in advance just because they're offering this new blood work option. People are leaving their chiropractic office behind and jumping into this blood work option, which now they can do from anywhere, right? So he created this event. I get the first round of practitioners in that, and I realized there's this big gap between the sets of people, my colleagues in there. One that has been around me enough that they understand the labs, and two, they're not around me, they're kind of newer to me, and they don't know the labs, they don't know the lingo I'm using. So we figured this out on a Thursday afternoon. I adapt fast. I take action fast. By Monday, we had created the idea of a Master Bloodwork live event. Okay, now how do we set up this event? Well, I went back to my Chris and Jen experience. I've watched them take action and adapt fast. So what did they do? They took their 8-week program and condensed it into 3 days. Okay, how fast can I teach people all of the blood work? I can do it in 4 hours. Now, had I done it in 4 hours up to that point? No. I bet on myself. Gave myself 4 hours, and by golly, I was going to do it in 4 hours. So that you can learn all the blood work you need in half a day. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to just brain dump, get everything they know within this 4.5 hours, because we did 2-hour sessions with a 30-minute break, and we're still doing it that way. The more I do it, the better I get. The more gold that's in it. Like last time, the session 2, the first half hour was all about how do you take the blood work and you incorporate it into what you're doing, whether it be a naturopathic, chiropractic, or whatever office it is. I explained how they do that. So more and more gets added to this Master Bloodwork event and slammed into the 4.5 hours. And then we go from, okay, now that they've had an overnight to think about it, let's have a Q&A session the next day. 90 minutes, come chat. Come bring with me all your questions. Boom, done. Where did I get that idea from? I saw a problem, figured out how can I fix it, then how can I deliver it the fastest way possible? Because that's what I see other people doing who are thriving in business. Adapt fast. Take action fast. Walk through the door. You never know what walking through that door is going to bring on the other side. I walked through that door, gave everything I had. Every month, the $10,000 would come out, and I'd say, it's 10,000 miles on my Sky Miles account. 15,000, 20,000 miles. That's an airfare ticket right there. See, optimist, no matter what. You tell me to spend $100,000. I'm going to find a way to figure out how beneficial that is. And when you do that, spending money, asking for money, it's a lot easier. In fact, I should say when it comes to money, I'm not attached to it at all anymore. $400 at the grocery store, $110 at the gas tank. It's energy, comes and goes. Okay. So I just want to hope by listening to me and my story and what I've done over the last 5 months, I saw a problem, I created a solution. Bam. Now I have the free workshop going into a Master Bloodwork event, which the next part of the funnel up is not the 90-day program. Then now that the first round of the 90-day program is over, took me a while. What the crap is going to be next? How can I better serve my colleagues? How can we reach that next level together? Then I met someone. I walked through a door. Had her on my podcast. And the funny thing is that her and I, we go back, we'll listen to this episode with Nicole Mitchell on money. We were in that same 5-day boot camp together back in 2020. She walked through a door, gave everything she had, only for her story to go viral, and she's making $100,000 months like that. She walked through a door. Now, up until that point, when she's paid $55 for that 5-day boot camp that I did, her money was going like this every single month. For the last, like she said, 15 months, she was making less money. And she didn't have hardly anything to begin with on food stamps. that story. So if Nicole can do it, and I can do it, and Chris and Jen can do it, you by sure can do it too. Adapt. Take action fast. The next time you go to criticize me for how fast I take action, maybe just try copying me instead. If something's not working, tweak it. How can you make things better? Tweak it. Do you have to start from scratch? No. But you might want to add in a few tools like the blood work tool into your toolkit. So now instead of this practice that we are ingrained to have, I mean, if my professors knew what I was doing 5 years out of practice, maybe that's why they all hated my guts, honestly, because I was a threat to them. That's normally the story of my life. Threat to my volleyball coaches, because that's just whatever. It's just who I am, a leader, I guess. I'll accept it. Dare to dream. Make your business model revolve around your lifestyle, the lifestyle you want, because 2020 opened up doors. It's your job to walk through them. Who wants to come hang out with me in Florida in February of 2023? If you're a practitioner, you have an opportunity to come join me inside the brand new live and in-person event, Orlando, Florida at the Wyndham Grand Bonnet Creek Resort. February 20th, 21st, and 22nd of 2023. Mark your calendars because registration begins in November with details out in November, and there is early bird sign up if you get in and join us before the end of the year. So stay tuned. This is for you practitioners. I'm going to bring you the best marketing, mindset, and business experts in the world, because this is something we all need, yet we don't receive. So mark your calendars, February 20, 21st, and 22nd. Not only am I going to bring you the best experts, but I'm going to celebrate your success with you. We're going to celebrate on that Monday night, that Tuesday night, and that Wednesday night. So you can fly in on Monday, but don't fly out until Thursday. Hang out with us and celebrate your successes, because the only way to measure success is to measure it backwards. This podcast is sponsored by my favorite supplement companies. If you're not using them in your practice, you should. If you're not using them and don't have them in your cupboard, you should. And by the way, don't get these on Amazon. These are counterfeit on Amazon. My favorite supplement companies are Systemic Formulas and My Biome. If you are a practitioner, come join me inside their private Facebook group for practitioners called Systemic Formulas Clinical Nutrition. Everybody else, join them on Instagram at Systemic Formulas.